Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. The Broncos can't even beat the Kansas City Mahomeless Perna. How many quarterback sneaks has Tom Brady run without ever dislocating his kneecap? 50, 100, a fucking million? Mahomes runs one and then he's done. Either God hates me or isn't real. Because Tom Brady is an indestructible machine that can never be stopped, and I have nothing to show for my pathetic life. Just like the Broncos after a Thursday night embarrassing loss to the deadly arm of Matt Moore. There were more shots of Mahomes walking into the locker room in this game than there were Broncos offensive highlights. So I've got updates on the Patrick Mahomes injury, and then we will relive all 8 or 9 or 10 of the Joe Flacco sacks because I hate myself. That's good sports. In positive news, you can still subscribe to this YouTube channel, and today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped, which you can now get in Target. So you might know Manscaped has been a huge supporter of That's Good Sports. I've been working with them for over a year now, which is why I'm super excited. You can now get Manscaped in Target. Target. And to show my respects to Manscaped, I'm gonna go inside Target and shave my nipples. Never leave home without it. Manscaped is now at Target stores nationwide. Check them out today or use my code GOODSPORTS for 20% off, free shipping, plus limited edition Manscaped boxer briefs at manscaped.com. And to answer your question, yeah, the nipples still look good. My family has a group text chain, and last night my dad accidentally sent the group some info about dangerous baby food, and then followed it up with, "Sorry, I thought I was sending this to Courtney and Dory," that's my mom and sister, "but now that it's out there, maybe the Broncos are eating rice-based food filled with arsenic." Poignant, Dad, poignant. Now, Broncos fans feel horrible today. I'm pretty sure having your dislocated knee pop back into place feels as bad as watching that game felt for me. The Mahomes injury had Kansas City supporters lighting Mahomes prayer candles in hopes of getting their QB back quickly. Broncos fans were lighting Joe Flacco voodoo dolls on fire in hopes our QB would simply disappear or get traded for Cam Newton. Do you think it's a coincidence, though, that Patrick Mahomes was injured the same night Lady Gaga nearly had her knee dislocated by a fan who fell off the stage with her wrapped in his arms? Not a coincidence at all.
Hey.
What?
I just want to take another look at you. Hey.
What?
I just want to take another look at you.
Now, Chiefs fans can rest easy tonight, as an MRI confirmed Patrick Mahomes suffered no damage to his knee ligaments. That is very good news. And he only endured a dislocated kneecap. So Mahomes should be back in 3 to 4 weeks, making his kneecap the only cap Chiefs have to consider. And Cap is out of the league because of his knee. Almost got back in because of Patrick Mahomes' kneecap. Holy shit. The Broncos did have an excellent game plan on the opening drive. Tricked the Chiefs into committing penalties on third down. I don't know how Rich Scangarello scripted that, but it worked perfectly. Boy howdy, did it work. If you remove those 2 Chiefs penalties on third down, the Broncos score 0 points in this game. 0. That's how good the Broncos offense was. A penalty on the point after attempt encouraged Vic Fangio to go for 2, which Denver did not convert because everyone knows Philip Lindsay has a tough time scoring at home, which is why he needs to move out of his parents' basement ASAP. Speaking of not scoring, some things are true on the football field and in real life. Much like the bedroom of life, just the tip is not good enough on the field either. Shelby Harris and Will Parks, both getting just the tip of the ball in this game, could not stop Mecole Hardman from scoring the one touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes. Immediately following the Patrick Mahomes injury, the Chiefs had a 1st and goal, but the Denver Broncos defense holds, and Kansas City settled for a field goal. A small win after a big break for the Broncos not having to face one of the best quarterbacks in the league for the rest of the game. And in my dumb little brain, I thought, okay, now I'm going to have to write an episode about how the Broncos got a win against Kansas City, but it's not that impressive because all of the Chiefs players were hurt. That's how stupid my brain was. So, to deflect from the Broncos' truth, let me pose another question. How shitty are the Chargers and Titans? The Broncos beat the piss out of them. Okay, back to the game. Joe fucking Flacco then gets sacked, fumbles the ball. The Chiefs scoop it up for a touchdown, crushing my soul and putting it back in an asylum where it belongs. Reggie Ragland took the Broncos to the worst amusement park on earth, Reggie's Ragland, a magical destination filled with attractions such as Thornhill's Frank Clark bars and used Chris Collinsworth rags after a primetime game featuring Patrick Mahomes. It's Ragland, baby. Step right up and see if you can hold for as long as strongman Garett Bolles. It's fucking Ragland. Now, in the very first episode of That's Good Broncos, I counted down 7 Peyton Manning touchdown passes against the Ravens where Flacco was a victim of that air assault. So today, I must assault Joe Flacco again, this time with my words in iambic pentameter in the form of sad poetry. I feel a self-inflicted sad poetry wound would even be supported by Aqib Talib. Wacko Flacco, tobacco Flacco, I run just 2 plays, ol' me, Joe Flacco. Throw the deep ball or take a sacco. Those are my 2 plays, those are my only ways. Denver lost more yards on sacks than cracks have broken mothers' backs. Matt Moore had taken 0 reps with the Chiefs offense, so losing to a QB who was scouting this offseason is indisputable football treason. Dressing up as Cowboys before the game, a curse certainly to make the rushing lame. Denver couldn't run or pass or kick or block, and now we count down the days until we see Drew Lock. Joe Flacco, you used to be a bird, and now I'm like a bird, I only fly away. Wishing I could fly away like Nelly Furtado. You, Joe Flacco, should be fucking benched for trying to kill Mr. Colorado. Even punting fake passer Colby Wadman sacked when Denver attempted ill-advised trickery. When your special teams is bad, there's no need to be clever. Worst fake punt ever. Next to Indy. Garett Bolles can hold unless it's a bowl you ask Garett to hold. Fill a bowl with sacks and spoon feed it to Joe Flacco on his backs. Flacco might as well be a chief after he was seen tomahawk chopping Ron Leary's head. And there's only 9 more weeks of football for Broncos fans to dread. Leary was never checked for a concussion. Maybe that's why the Broncos couldn't do any rushing. Just like the words come from the mouth of Joe Buck, the Broncos are back in a world of suck. Sad poetry. So sad. The Chiefs coaches really are next level good though. Here they are on the sideline coaching up Matt Moore, telling him the biggest danger on the Broncos defense is osteoporosis bus driver. Smart coaching, guys. Now, for a guy who has played as much football as Joe Flacco, he cannot dissect a defense the way a seasoned quarterback should. Yes, he fell victim to some terrible blocking, but he did very little in recognizing and then helping point out to the offensive line where the blitz may be coming from. It looks like Flacco does absolutely nothing pre-snap. And to make matters worse, he can't move to avoid or outmaneuver pressure. Basically, Flacco never evolved as a quarterback in the mind. Young guys still learning the game can get away with not diagnosing a blitz or a coverage because they can simply run away from a blitz. Flacco appears to be just as clueless as them without any of the athletic ability to avoid pressure, and furthermore, he doesn't make decisions quick enough to help out a struggling offensive line. The Broncos' offensive line and quarterback Joe Flacco have the opposite of a symbiotic relationship. It's more dysfunctional than a Tyreek Hill relationship. A loss to the Chiefs without Mahomes, without Sammy Watkins, without two of their starting offensive linemen, without Chris Jones, without Kendall Fuller, and a game that meant everything to the Broncos and their chances to be a competitive team this year is the most embarrassed I've felt as a Broncos fan since last season. A tight end is supposed to be a quarterback security blanket. Travis Kelce is definitely that for the Chiefs. Noah Fant is more like a security guard who needs a blanket. That doesn't really make sense. Noah Fant is more like a smallpox blanket. Okay, that's a bit dark even for me. But Devin Bush is winning the Noah Fant and Devin Bush race. Bush has 2 picks and a touchdown in the last 2 weeks, which gives Bush 1 more touchdown and 1 less reception than Noah Fant over the last 2 weeks. Devin Bush is a linebacker, guys. Good tight ends make these types of catches plain and simple, and I'm not saying Fant won't be a good tight end in the NFL, he might be, but these drops are inexcusable for a first-round draft pick. The Broncos were so bad, even Adam Gase was making fun of them in his press conference.
I thought he did a good job considering he's been gone as long as he has.
Okay, so maybe he wasn't, but you believed that was a possibility, didn't you? Emmanuel Sanders definitely referenced Rich Scangarello's terrible play calling.
We got to call better plays, obviously, and we got to make the plays.
And they do have to call better plays. And after 7 weeks, it appears that Scangarello, outside of his scripted Chiefs penalties, hasn't even come close to figuring out this play calling thing. Troy Aikman did an excellent job roasting Joe Flacco with the truth all night.
I don't want to be too hard on Joe, but, let's get a little life out here. It's not a good throw. I mean, if you throw it where it needs to be thrown, he catches it and picks up the first down, and it's not 4th and 1. This is about as bad on offense as I've seen. I'm shocked there's as many people still here at the game.
Justin Simmons played very well. He's the only player I believe Troy Aikman complimented.
Yeah, Justin Simmons, he's a 3rd-year starter, and there's not many people that can do this against LaShawn McCoy in open space.
So I will leave you with this final thought. Drew Lock needs to play as soon as he comes off of IR. But he'll struggle behind a bad O-line. Don't do that to him. Good. If you can't play behind a bad offensive line in the NFL, you can't play for about half the fucking teams in the league. Imagine how good Deshaun Watson would be with a good O-line. People would call him Patrick Mahomes. Jared Goff just played in a Super Bowl, and now with the struggling line, looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Good quarterbacks figure out how to move the ball in every situation. And I would rather live with all of those mistakes Drew Lock makes now with a team destined to go nowhere this season than try to figure that shit out next year. So, as Broncos fans, we are on to 2020, but Drew Lock time better be soon. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on the tubes of use and tubes and use. Sub here, blue. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, at Brandon Perna if you care to talk football or send me stupid shit there for everyone on the interwebs to see.